Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irina Ariana. My student ID is 332300126. So today I would like to present about Classroom Management Project 1. Okay, part 1 is about communicating with students. Before that, we need to understand the definition of communication. So, what is communication? Communication is the process of sharing information, ideas, feelings, and messages between teachers and students. In the classroom, communication helps teachers to give instructions clearly, build good relationships with students, encourage participation, create a positive learning environment. Good communication is not only about speaking, but also about listening and understanding students. And next, types of communication. There are two types of communication. The first one is verbal communication. Verbal communication uses words and language. Examples, giving explanations, asking questions, giving feedback, classroom discussions. Next, for the second one is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication uses body language and expressions. For example, eye contact, facial expressions, hand gestures, tone of voice. But verbal and nonverbal communication are important in teaching. Importance of communication in the classroom. Effective communication is important because it helps students understand lessons clearly, build trust between teacher and students, increases students' confidence, reduces misunderstanding, creates a positive classroom atmosphere, improves students' participation. When students feel respected and heard, they become more active in learning. Next is the characteristics of good communication. Good communication should be clear, respectful, friendly, honest, passionate, supportive. Teachers should speak politely and use simple language that students can easily understand. So these are common communication problems. Some communication problems in classroom are students not paying attention, misunderstanding instructions, lack of confidence to speak, language differences, noise and distractions, negative attitudes. These problems can impact the learning process and classroom relationships. And here is strategies to improve communication. Teachers can improve communication by listening carefully to students, giving clear instructions, using positive language, encouraging students to ask questions, making eye contact, showing empathy and respect, creating interactive classroom activities. Good communication makes students feel valued and motivated. And this is example of good communication. For example, when a student makes a mistake, a teacher should not embarrass the student. Instead, the teacher can say, "Good try, let's discuss the correct answers together." This kind of communication helps students feel safe and confident to learn. And for the last one is about conclusion of this part. Communication is very important in education. Good communication helps teachers and students build positive relationships and create an effective learning environment. Teachers should communicate clearly, respectfully, and passionately to help students learn better. By improving communication skills, teachers can support students academically and emotionally. Now we continue in the part 2 is about solving the problem. So this is problem 1. Mr. Eliezer repeatedly had problems while leading a class discussion with his junior high school students. No matter how involved in the topic the students were, there were usually several students sitting in the back who would talk, shoot out silly answers, and play with objects they had brought from home. Analysis of the problem. In my opinion, this problem happened because the students were not fully disciplined. Some students probably wanted attention from their classmates. The seating arrangement in the back also made it easier for them to become distracted and ignore the discussion. Another reason may be that the teacher did not involve all students equally during the activity, so some students lost focus and became disruptive. And the solution is Mr. Eliezer can solve this problem by creating clear classroom rules and reminding students to respect others during discussions. He can also change the seating arrangement regularly so disruptive students do not always sit together in the back. Another good solution is to involve students more actively by asking questions and giving everyone opportunities to participate. In addition, the teacher should give positive reinforcement to students who behave well and politely warn students who disturb the class. By improving classroom management and communication, this discussion can become more effective and enjoyable. And next, problem 2. Zivano was one of the most provocative and disruptive students Ms. Chandra had ever taught. Throughout class, it continuously talked to girls and teased students sitting near him. He made inappropriate and sarcastic remarks in response to almost anything Miss Chandra said. When confronted by her, Zivano grinned charmingly and responded with exaggerated courtesy, to the delight of the other students. Analysis of the problem is, I think Zivano behaved this way because he wanted attention from his classmates. He may also enjoy being the center of attention and making the class laugh. Another possible reason is that he did not fully respect classroom rules and teacher authority. If this behavior continues, it can negatively affect the classroom atmosphere and disturb the learning process. And the solution of this problem is Ms. Chandra should remain calm and professional when dealing with defendant. She should avoid arguing emotionally in front of the class, because this may encourage him to continue his behavior. Instead, she can speak with him privately after class and explain why his behavior is inappropriate. The teacher can also give him positive responsibilities, such as helping with classroom activities, so he feels important in a positive way. If his behavior improves, the teacher should praise him. However, if the problems continues, cooperation with parents may also be necessary. And the last one is problem 3. Mrs. Killa was concerned about the frequent teasing that had begun in her class. It reached the point where there was constant bickering among the students. They became so angry, began yelling, shouting, and stabbing one another during class. For analysis of the problem is, this conflict may have happened because students lack respect and emotional control. Teasing and bullying behavior may have continued for too long without proper intervention. Poor communication between students also contributed to the conflict. If this problem is ignored, students may feel unsafe and unable to focus on learning. So the solution for this problem is Ms. Kila should establish clear rules about respectful behavior in the classroom. She should immediately stop bullying and teach students how to communicate politely and solve conflicts peacefully. Group activities and teamwork can also help students build better relationships with one another. The teacher may also provide counseling or guidance for students involved in the conflict. By creating a respectful and supportive classroom environment, students can feel safer and more comfortable.